Hey everybody, welcome back. All right, that intro was absolutely epic, and for good reason, because this car is literally starting to grow on me. Like, I love everything about it. It is designed in a way that just represents the 80s almost to a T. So we are starting to get things kind of wrapped up with this car, and today we're going to talk about the exterior work that we've done. Basically, we're going to give it a foam wash, we're going to give it a nice rinse. This foam is going to decontaminate everything and bring all the debris off of the car. We're just going to let it soak, and then we'll give it a good rinse. We've already done a clay treatment to it, and we've already gotten all the hard decontaminants off of it. As you'll see later on, and we'll splash some photos when we do a two-step paint correction, that there was a lot of swirlies on this paint. Even though it doesn't look like it from a distance, there definitely was some correction that was needed, and you'll see that in this video. So let's kick it off with a nice foam bath on this Z28. All right, now that was refreshing. There's nothing like having a nice clean car. All right, one part I want to touch on before we go any further is we did a step that we didn't get a chance to video because the weather was very hit and miss, and that's detailing and washing the engine bay. And there's just a couple things I want to point out that's very important when you do this part of the car. Number one, always disconnect and remove the battery. You definitely do not want any electricity running through the car and any components while there's water hitting it at the same time. And number two is your alternator is very fragile and it's very easy for water to get in there and ruin it. So make sure you use plastic or something to try to make your alternators watertight as possible during the cleaning process. The steps to follow after that, you want to degrease. So get you a good degreaser, get detail brushes and rags, and get in there and try to get as much grease out as you can. Then we give it a foam bath and we let the foam just kind of soak in and just get all the decontaminants off the engine and just drip off. And then the next step is to use a very low PSI spray to kind of rinse off the engine and make sure all the foam is gone. You don't want any high pressure because then you're going to get water in places where it shouldn't be. So we use a very low PSI water pressure. And then the final step, which I think is the most important, is, especially before you put the battery back in, is you want to blow dry your car. So if you have anything like a leaf blower or detail blower, even a wet dry vac you could put in reverse with kind of like small attachments to create high velocity air. You want to blow dry that whole engine and get as much water out as you can. And you'll be surprised how much water is actually still sitting in the engine bay. So as you're blow drying it, you're going to make sure that it gets nice and clean. And then the final step is we always like to let it sit additionally for another 24 to 48 hours just to make sure all the water has evaporated. And after that, then I think it's safe to put the battery back in, start it right up. I know a lot of you guys have different ideas on how to wash an engine bay, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and your methods. Leave them down in the comments so we can talk about it. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the next part of this video. We're going to be completing a two-step paint correction. And we call it two steps because we're going to use two different style of grit pads and a compound to polish the car and give it that mirror finish. What step you're going to see in the video though is going to be the first of the two steps where we're using a medium grit to kind of work out that clear coat and get rid of all those swirlies. We'll splash a couple photos afterwards to show you the difference. So let's get started on polishing the Z28. As you can see, that made a huge difference. You might not see it from 10 or 20 feet away, but when you get close to the car, you can really see the difference with the paint. One thing I wanted to point out though, and it's something we forgot to talk about that was in a previous video, is our badge on the bumper, our tuned port injection badge. Here's what it looked like before. And once we got everything buffed and polished out, we were able to get rid of a lot of that haze that was on there, and this is what it looks like now. So we got our new badge on there and everything's looking great. Anyway, as we wrap up this project, we want to let you guys know that if you catch wind of any cars out there that might need saving, feel free to drop us an email at retrorideteam@gmail.com. And we're going to finish up this video with a few kind of pretty pictures that we took of all the work we've done so far on the car. So enjoy, and this is Anthony from Retro Ride Garage. We'll see you soon. Take care.